Your world is falling apart. Everything used to be so beautiful, and now it's withering away. So, you wonder, will things ever get better again? You don't know, yet still, you march on. After all, that's the only thing we can do. And so, they fight on. The world of Neva is tearing apart at its seams. Alba and Neva, our protagonists, hope to stop the destruction before everything is lost. They work tirelessly to restore their home's tranquil beauty, but their enemy grows stronger with each passing day. Annihilation stands at their doorstep, threatening to ruin everything, including our heroes. But if Alba and Neva stay resilient, then there is still hope left for this world. In the end, Neva uses its protagonist's quest to demonstrate that recovery requires perseverance. In this video, I'll examine the story of the adventure platformer Neva. I'll explain how it teaches players that we can overcome life setbacks through patience and endurance. Neva is a breathtakingly gorgeous experience, but you don't need to play it before watching this video. I'll walk you through the game's plot while discussing its themes. Therefore, full spoilers ahead. And by the way, Neva does have a prologue DLC. However, this video will only cover the main game. But before we dive deep into the plot, let's set the scene a little. Birds soar through open pink skies. Meanwhile, infinite expanses of wildlife stretch beneath them. The greenery thrives off the crystal clear water flowing all around. This place is nothing short of paradise. But of course, this serenity is not permanent, and a bird begins to plummet mid-flight. It crashes into the earth, dead before it even hit the ground. An instant later, black blossoms bloom out of its corpse, draining the bird of color. Then, a wolf pup discovers the bird's body. The pup's companion, a woman named Alba, gingerly picks it up. She shows it to her second friend, a giant white wolf with antlers. Suddenly, more birds begin falling like raindrops. The trio looks around and grows tense. A wave of black clouds is charging right at them. Everyone braces themselves, and the battle begins. Shadowy figures hiding in the mist attack Alba. She retaliates, but the monsters overwhelm her. Meanwhile, the great white wolf puts up her own fight, but the monsters bring her down too. Then everything fades to black. When Alba regains consciousness, the shadow creatures are gone, but her pain remains. Lying nearby is the body of her friend, the white wolf. She rushes over but quickly realizes that the wolf has already passed. As Alba mourns, the wolf pup walks up to her. They embrace, and Alba accepts that it is now her responsibility to raise this child. The two continue to hug as the scene fades away. Now, it is summer. Alba and young Neva rest in the shade of the lush green woods. After waking from their nap, the pair begin to explore. They pass by enormous trees, flowing blue water, and thriving wildflowers. During their walk, they also make frequent stops for Neva's petting breaks. Naturally, as Alba guides Neva through the scenery, she helps the timid wolf face her fears, such as clearing wide gaps. This game is a platformer, so Neva needs to get used to this. Alba and Neva start encountering forest animals, including deer, storks, and boars. They walk by and continue into a field of yellow flowers where they make a horrifying discovery. Alba and Neva find a tree devoid of color. It is wilting away and covered in black blossoms, just like the bird in the opening cutscene. This tree is a victim of the corruption. Then, long, shadowy arms sprout from the soil. They try to steal Neva away, but Alba cuts them down in the nick of time. Alba consoles her terrified friend. However, neither of them knows that something much worse waits ahead. Meet the corruption's monsters. These humanoid humanoid creatures crawl around like termites, greedily feasting on nature. Black blossoms grow out of their victims, marking the cause of death. The corruption's monsters are a symbol. They represent life's issues. They appear out of nowhere and devour the happiness we once cherished. And sometimes, our problems grow into something monstrous. After defeating some of the forest's new occupants, Alba and Neva meet the worst one yet. It's enormous, and it starts chasing the pair. Fortunately, Alba and Neva escape from the beast, but they get separated at the last second. Alba knows Neva can't defend herself, so she rushes to find her friend. Thankfully, Alba quickly reunites with Neva, who is completely unharmed. Neva is delighted to have Alba at her side again, but shortly after, the corruption's giant reappears for another attack. However, instead of running again, Alba decides to fight. The beast swats at Alba with its large limbs, but she evades as best she can, and eventually, Alba's own attacks bring the creature down. She prepares her finishing blow, but before she strikes, Alba calls Neva to her side to help her defeat this foe. Together, Alba and Neva end the battle. The enemy transforms into a green, bushy plant, and the surrounding flowers glow a bright blue. Meanwhile, Alba and Neva embrace one another, quietly celebrating their victory. However, this is only the beginning of their struggle. Unfortunately, Alba and Neva's real enemy hasn't even shown their face yet. Summer's warmth has faded. Now, change blows in with the winds of fall. Red and brown have washed over the forest, but the scenery is not the only thing that has changed. Neva has reached adolescence, and with age comes surprising new abilities. Neva can now teleport. This will prove extremely useful as Alba and Neva navigate their new surroundings. And thanks to her exposure fighting the giant with Alba, Neva is now brave enough to fight monsters on her own. She begins to help Alba during fights by sneaking in occasional attacks. Alba and Neva must navigate the corruption's new destruction. This dark force has broken the ground into chunks. Entire pieces of earth float in the air like balloons. Alba and Neva scale these floating islands high into the sky. During their ascent, they encounter the corruption's newest abomination. I lovingly call it the Blob. The Blob is an amalgamation of several monsters. Sometimes, one problem piles onto another, and another, and another. Next you know, you have an entire monstrosity on your hands. Neva tries to face the Blob on her own, but it knocks her unconscious. So Alba slowly whittles away at the Blob until she defeats it herself. After Alba helps her to her feet, the urge to grow stronger invigorates Neva. She howls into the air, and her cry magically heals Alba's wounds. Next, our heroes start climbing a massive tree that has floated into the sky. They plan to survey the surrounding area from the top, but as Alba scales the trunk, something catches her attention. Corruption rushes over the forest below like a wave, and it is heading straight toward them. Alba glances at the bottom of the tree, and she is greeted by none other than the game's main antagonist, the Queen of Corruption. The Queen is the leader of the corruption. She is an imposing figure whose body consists of countless smaller monsters just like the Blob. She is destruction incarnate, here to ruin everything our heroes cherish. The Queen unsheaths her sword and plunges it into the ground, unleashing another wave of corruption. It quickly slithers up the tree trunk toward Alba and Neva. They frantically scramble up the tree as it splinters around them, but eventually the pair reach the top. With nowhere left to run, the corruption catches up to them. The tree finishes separating, tossing Alba and Neva to the ground far below. Fortunately, there's no fall damage in this game. Alba and Neva now find themselves enshrouded in fog. Disturbingly, the forest's gorgeous scenery has completely disappeared. Alba and Neva find a boar graveyard. The corruption's monsters gorge themselves on the animals' corpses. As they pass through this wretched scene, Alba and Neva encounter a new type of enemy, the corrupted boar. The corruption's monsters have clawed their way inside the boar's carcass, reanimating it like a zombie. But Alba and Neva lay the boar to rest by attacking the monsters inside. However, the boars are not the corruption's only victim. The storks have become the corruption's puppets too. Alba and Neva slay the monsters, pulling their strings, allowing the storks to rest in peace. So far, the duo have handled the corrupted animals with ease. However, they soon encountered their first real challenge, a huge corrupted boar. And during the battle, the corruption's hands shoot out of the ground, subduing Alba. With no way out, she calls on Neva, who immediately pounces on the corrupted boar, finishing it for good. Neva's actions demonstrate how close she has become with Alba. She stepped up to save Alba when Alba couldn't fight, just like Alba has done for her. The gameplay reflects their growing bond too. Neva will now charge forward when players call her. This new ability will soon prove its worth as Alba and Neva face the strongest corrupted enemy. They discover two deceased deer peacefully frozen in place. But then, right on cue, the corruption forces them back into motion to attack Alba and Neva. The bucks relentlessly charge back and forth, but Alba and Neva eventually stop them. The larger buck spits out the corruption hiding inside of it. The corruption shoots into the air above its mouth, forming a writhing pillar of darkness. Alba jumps on top, but before she strikes, she calls out to Neva, and the pair attack together once again. The corruption dissipates out of the deer. In his last moment, he reaches out to his partner. The two look lovingly into each other's eyes as they turn to foliage. Alba embraces Neva, and the scene fades away. Night has fallen. It is still dark, but Alba wakes up, panicked. After glancing around, she realizes that Neva is missing. But don't worry, this isn't real. This entire next sequence takes place in Alba's dreams, or more appropriately, her nightmares. As Alba rushes to find Neva, the corruption's hands suddenly grab her. They drag her underground, and there is an entire sky beneath the dirt. After falling through the clouds, Alba lands on top of a large structure. Darkness radiates from the building. After all, it is built on the literal backs of the corruption's monsters. Alba maneuvers her way through the ominous building in search of Neva. As she moves along, she spots the silhouette of a giant wolf corpse off in the distance. When Alba finally finds Neva, she is staring at the sky, observing the dead wolf. Alba tenderly reunites with Neva, and the two continue on. As Alba and Neva battle disturbing enemies, monsters start infecting the wolf corpse. They eventually seize control, waking the dead animal. The environment takes on a foreboding red glow, as if a great evil has entered the area. Before we continue, let's talk about the imagery of this nightmare. It is a culmination of the things Alba fears most. First, there's the environment itself. The corruption controls everything, and there is no nature in sight. Alba is afraid that this is what will become of her home if she is too weak to defeat the corruption. Second, there's the corrupted wolf. Naturally, it is not just any wolf. It is an adult version of Neva. Losing Neva is Alba's greatest fear. Corrupted Neva stalks Alba, reminding her of what could happen. Eventually, Alba reaches the darkest depths of her nightmare. She can't see anything, and enemies are nearby. Here we witness the most blatant metaphor in the game. Neva becomes Alba's light. During this section, players use Neva as a torch. Whenever Alba calls her to attack, Neva's body illuminates the room. Thanks to Neva's help, Alba can navigate this suffocating darkness. However, they are about to face an even greater darkness: Corrupted Neva. Corrupted Neva attacks mercilessly. She uses her teleportation abilities to strike at Alba and Neva from all sides. It is a struggle, but Alba and Neva eventually defeat her. The Corruption's monsters burst out of her snout. Alba scales Corrupted Neva's body to purge this infection, but after Alba uncertainly calls out to her Neva for help, Corrupted Neva snaps her jaw shut, swallowing Alba whole. Alba's nightmare finally ends, but her anxiety does not. Regardless, Alba understands that she must press on despite her concerns about Neva's future. If Alba lets fear control her, then she cannot heal her home or protect Neva. Resilience is a necessity. This truth becomes even more evident in Neva's next chapter. The situation has never been worse. Winter has covered the forest's scant remains in snow and ice. Buildings have crumbled to rubble. The few plants left are dying or already dead. And the Corruption's monsters continue to hunt for the forest's last traces of life. On the bright side, Neva is rapidly approaching adulthood. She is now large enough that Alba can ride on her back. The pair have become so close that they are now in complete sync. Whenever Alba swings her sword, Neva lashes out alongside her. As they journey through the wasteland, Alba and Neva spot a surprising sight: another wolf. Neva interacts with the wolf, but ultimately scares him away. I guess she's not great at making friends. Regardless, the gray wolf appears again while Alba and Neva fight the Corruption's monsters. He watches from afar, sizing up the duo, but unfortunately, this battle takes a turn for the worse. The Corruption's hands suddenly sprout from the ground, subduing Alba. Neva tries to protect her, but the monsters knock her out. They close in on Alba, but before they finish her off, the gray wolf intervenes. He slays the monsters single-handedly, saving Alba and Neva. He heals the pair, and Neva thanks him with some nuzzling? Okay, something's happening between these two. Unfortunately, Neva's new boyfriend soon falls into trouble. The Corruption's monsters have pinned the wolf down, so Alba and Neva return their favor by rescuing him. Afterward, they uncover stairs leading up into a structure that belongs to the Corruption. The Corruption has begun building a new society atop the forest's grave, just like Alba feared. Alba, Neva, and the Grey Wolf find the Queen of Corruption at the top. However, she summons an enormous monster to fight in her stead. The monstrosity rushes at Alba and Neva, so they sprint away. It fires attacks from its body as it crawls toward them. The creature even tries to destroy their surroundings, but Alba and Neva won't be stopped. Eventually, the abomination tries one last desperate charge. It closes the gap, but just before it seizes Alba and Neva, the Grey Wolf leaps in. He latches on to the monster's face, stopping its mad chase. Neva follows suit by clamping down her jaws too. Finally, Alba jumps in for her own attack. She plunges her sword into the beast's face, defeating it with a single jab. Trees begin sprouting up all around them. As the plants grow, Alba and Neva share a heartfelt moment together. They understand that it would be best if Neva went off with the Grey Wolf. After all, they are the only ones who can save their species from extinction. To create a better tomorrow, we must be strong today. Alba knows this already, so she summons the strength to let Neva go. She says goodbye and continues on her journey. Alone. The snow is racing down a mountaintop. Atop this mountain sits an entire fortress dedicated to the Queen of Corruption. Alba marches into the building to finally complete her mission. She rushes to the top where a mass of frozen monsters rises into the clouds above. With no other way to ascend, Alba scales the stalactite of bodies. A disturbing visual awaits at the end of her climb. The queen is gorging herself on her own followers. They happily sacrifice themselves so she can grow more powerful. Whenever it's fed, this beast grows stronger. The queen notices Alba and hides her disgusting true form. She draws her blade to finish this war. Alba does the same, and the final fight begins. It is time to see if Alba is tough enough to overcome the demons destroying her life. The queen slices with wide arcs of her sword. Alba dodges these attacks and sneaks in her own. She maintains a steady pace, taking the queen down hit by hit until the queen finally staggers. Alba seizes this opportunity by plunging her sword into the queen. However, her strength is not enough. The queen grabs Alba and slams her into the ground. She draws her blade again, but just as the queen prepares her killing blow, a howl rings out around them, and then Neva appears out of thin air. She may have said goodbye, but in the end, she could not abandon her mission or her friend. The queen tries to hold her own against the duo, but with their combined strength, Alba and Neva cut her down in no time. The pair jump in for a final strike, but at the last second, the queen rises again and seizes Neva by the neck. As Alba tries to save Neva, the queen sends her flying back. The queen then painfully scrapes her finger across Neva's eye. Corruption spreads across Neva's head, dragging her toward death's door. But then, with the last of her fleeting strength, Neva unleashes a howl at the queen. The howl's healing power hurts the queen, and she drops Neva as her energy wanes. The corruption stops growing on Neva, and she runs over to her defeated friend. Neva carries Alba away on her back. As they rush along, Alba starts to recover, and when she opens her eyes, she is greeted by the most beautiful sight. What was just a barren wasteland is now an endless landscape of greenery and life. Birds soar through the sky as the sun rises to greet this new day. As they take in this breathtaking view, they realize that they have finally done it. Alba and Neva have saved their home. Time marches on. Winter has passed, and spring has arrived. Flowers cover the ground, blossoms dangle from branches like streamers, and the trees themselves have quadrupled in size. At the center of it all are Alba and Neva, resting like they were at the start of their journey. But this time, there is someone else resting with them. Alba wakes up Bruma, Neva's pup. Nature unfolds all around them. As the leaves return in brilliant shades of pink, water flows from enormous waterfalls, nourishing the tree's roots. The storks rest in the waterfall's ponds. Just beyond the water, Bruma makes friends with a young deer. After Neva finally wakes up, the trio walk together. Players watch Bruma work her way up the platforms the same way Neva did as a pup. The circle of life is coming full circle. The group soon arrives at a grassy clearing, but as they walk through the patch, they are suddenly filled with dread. A flying bird plummets to the ground. The trio rushes over, and they discover that the bird is covered in the corruption's flowers. Next they know, birds start falling all around them, and then the group spots something terrible heading their way. It is a huge cloud of corruption. Alba and Neva thought they had laid this enemy to rest, but it has come come back with a vengeance. Alba fights hard to stand her ground, but the corruption's monsters knock her out of the battle. Meanwhile, the monsters gang up on Neva. She tries to shake them off, but their numbers overwhelm her too. The monsters hold Neva still as the queen manifests out of the darkness. She is here to finish what she started in winter. As she readies her blade, Neva tries her howl once more. It staggers the queen, but this time, it is not enough to stop her. The queen drives her sword straight through Neva's chest. As Neva shudders in pain, an unexpected interloper jumps in. It is Neva's pup, Bruma. She unleashes a howl of her own, and Neva follows it up with another cry. And this time, the wolves' combined healing power is enough. It transforms the queen into a lively, blossoming tree. And with their leader gone, the corruption is finally defeated. However, this victory does not come without loss. Neva crashes to the ground after withstanding the queen's final attack. Bruma calls out to her mother, but quickly realizes she is gone. Alba wakes up and discovers this tragedy. She falls to her knees, struggling to accept Neva's death. As Alba mourns, Bruma walks up beside her. The two embrace in their shared sorrow. And in that moment, Alba understands that she must raise Bruma in Neva's stead. Players might feel a sense of deja vu from the events that just transpired. That's because this entire cutscene played at the beginning of the game. The game tricks players by disguising its opening cutscene as a prologue. In truth, it was actually the game's epilogue. However, the cutscene continues a little longer this second time around. Alba whispers one last goodbye to her deceased friend, and in response, pale white butterflies emerge from Neva's fur. They flutter around Alba and Bruma, completely surrounding the pair. It is as if Neva is showing them that there is still so much happiness in their future, even if she's gone. This is the game's final reminder that we must find the strength to carry on. If we can persevere through our most difficult moments, then we will find peace again. So keep moving forward. There is immeasurable wonder waiting in your future. Thank you for watching my video about Neva. If you enjoyed journeying through this breathtaking world with me, then please like this video to help it reach more people. And if you want to see my future videos about other great games, please subscribe. If you want to support me even further, then please join my Patreon. Patreon members get their names featured in my videos, early access to new videos, and the occasional opportunity to decide what game I cover next. If you're interested, my Patreon link is in the description. Thank you to the creators of Neva, Nomada Studio. Experiencing this gorgeous game for the first time was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I couldn't have made this video if you didn't make this game, so thank you. Now, if anyone watching would like to discuss Neva, then please leave a comment and I'll try to reply. And when you're ready to move on to another game, I recommend you check out my video essay on the Metroidvania 9 Souls. In that video, I warn you about the dangers of ambition and show you why we must learn to let go. 9 Souls is a little more violent than Neva, but its story is just as touching. So I hope you'll check out that video next.